wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show by people. Belize our hopes up to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that must happen under God blue skies. I love to make people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play your role, get where you need to. You can tune in for work. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time? Call in, it's a show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show, my people. Belize our hopes up to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that must happen under God blue skies. I love to make people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB.
Hey, good morning, welcome. This is WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's Monday morning, 26th of May, 2025. Wherever you are, we hope that your morning is lifting beautifully. We're glad you're here with us to start the day, start the week. I'm Mose, Hyde, hosting the People's Conversation. That's right, on Creme Radio and on XTV. We want to welcome everybody listening to the radio, watching us on television or via our social media streams, getting us on our apps, which can be downloaded to your smart devices, or it is you're getting us via simulcast coverage. It's great to have you here. Hope your health is great, your energy is high, vibrations positive, and that you've got some time to spend with us and enough space to even jump in, since that is our primary mission this morning, getting people to jump in, get you for reason, get you for talk a little bit. You know WUB, you know that's the format. Belize's premier morning conversation gets started here. We start off with the preliminaries, which means we get you up to date with the morning news. Before we do that, we've got a bit of the weather forecast for you. The National Met Service serves up fresh forecast for today, and it's going to be brought to you by forecaster Crystal Gonzalez.
Good morning. Generally fair weather continues over the country. In the 24-hour forecast, skies will be sunny with a few cloudy spells today and then partly cloudy tonight. Showers will be isolated. High temperatures will reach around 90 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast 96 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and then 84 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains. Then low temperatures for tonight will reach around 82 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 76 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and then 68 degrees Fahrenheit in the hills. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to southeast at 10 to 20 knots, and then sea conditions will be moderate. High tides occur around 8:30 this morning and at 10:29 tonight. Low tides at 4:06 this evening and then at 3:09 tomorrow morning. The moon will set at 6:13 this evening and rise at 5:31 tomorrow morning, and then sunset is at 6:21 this evening and sunrise at 5:17 tomorrow morning. The extended forecast is for generally fair and windy conditions with only isolated showers, if any, expected for Tuesday and Tuesday night. In the fire risk forecast, the risk for brush and forest fires will remain high as generally fair weather continues. And finally, for the sargassum update, no significant improvement is expected in the sargassum situation during the next few days as satellite and surface observations continue to show large quantities of sargassum over the area. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
Private radio in Belize since 1989. Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
And now we bring you the morning news. A man has drowned in the northern part of Toledo district on Saturday night. Reports are that 19-year-old Daniel Bulum had gone fishing in San Pablo near the border with Stan Creek when he reportedly drowned. His body was found near midnight with fish tied to his waist. According to reports, Bulum had gone fishing with Miguel Batz and Rolando Izol. The men reported to police that Bulum went about 100 yards from them while the group was fishing and went underwater, presumably looking for fish, but he failed to resurface. The men then began to search for him and were able to find his body, but he was unresponsive. Police are investigating. On Friday, the family of 14-year-old Belizean student Jelly Vasquez of Benqueville del Carmen, Cayo, reported her missing. At the time, the family reported to police that they had last seen her on Thursday morning at 7:30 when she had traveled across the border to Melchor de Mencos in Guatemala. However, over the weekend, a video was uploaded to Facebook where the teen explained she had left her home due to sexual harassment by her mother's partner. She said her mother did not believe her and she left for her own safety. She asked to be left alone.
About 2 years ago, my mom had a boyfriend. He would sexually harass me. I told her. She didn't believe me. I got removed from her care. I left the Bloom Pond for about a year just to come back and find out she was still with him. I was tired of that, waking up every day knowing she chose to believe him and not me. So I left. I'm working over here and I'm fine. So please don't continue looking for me. I saw your video, and I know the boy you're referring to in that video is having, but I'm here by myself. I didn't come with him. I don't know anything about him. And I heard that you said that you are investigating him. I need you to stop that because he doesn't have nothing to do with this and he can't be getting it in. You're trying to let him get in problems or something he didn't do. So please, all I'm asking you is just to leave him alone and leave me alone because I'm not with him. I'm by myself working. Please just leave me alone. And I will go back, but not right now. I was also tired because I was in that social department thing.
The video clip went viral with many questioning whether the minor recorded the statement of her own accord, as many pointed out that she appears to have been reading her statement. The teen's whereabouts are still unknown. An orange walk man was found on the pavement and bleeding from the head on Queen Victoria Avenue in front of Friendship Restaurant sometime before 8 Saturday night. The man has been identified as 59-year-old Abel Valdez of a Stadium Street Orange Walk Town address. Initial investigations indicate that Valdez was hit to the head with a blunt object by an individual unknown to him. He was rushed to the Northern Regional Hospital for treatment. Police are investigating. The residential upper flat of a building in downtown Orange Walk was destroyed by fire on Saturday morning. The blaze broke out sometime around 9:30 at the corner of Santa Ana and Aurora Streets, across from Shell One Stop gas station at a red and white building with a wooden second floor. The first floor houses a neighbor's store, but is more popularly known for being the former location of Juanita's restaurant. Firefighters arrived shortly after and were able to extinguish the blaze and prevented it from spreading, but the damage had been done as the entire interior of the second story had been destroyed. According to reports, two teenage sisters, ages 14 and 11, were at home alone at the time. The younger sister was alone in her bedroom but stepped out for a moment as she was preparing to do the laundry. When she returned to her room, she noticed a fire had broken out near the fan and some clothes. Both girls tried to extinguish the flames but were unable to do so and quickly escaped to safety. The girls then contacted their mother, who we understand was at work at the time. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. Fire officials are investigating the cause of the fire. The structure was not insured and the estimated cost of damages is not yet known. The family has lost everything as the girls could not save anything. Neighbors have organized a drive to collect clothing, groceries, toiletries, school supplies, and other household items. And that is the end of our morning news update inside Wakeabili's Morning Vibes. We'll take ourselves a small break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to open up this for conversation. That's what we do weekday mornings. You're listening to Creme Radio. You're watching XTV. We will be right back.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. The News.
All right, welcome back to the WUB Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes on this Monday morning, 26th of May 2025. This hour for people talk, have the right and have the, not just the right, but they are first in line. You are first in line. We love when you talk. This is the way it works. This is WUB. Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes, and telephone number 280-5848. This is where you can jump in and be a part of the conversation. We love when you've got something to say, so please forward in and link in. And of course, there's always things to talk about. There's a lot going on always, near us, with us, around us, and of course around this place we call our planet. There's always other stuff going on, stuff that we have to pay attention to, stuff that we wish we didn't have to pay attention to, and sometimes there's stuff that makes us feel great, inspire us. We have to mix in everything, right? Last week I expressed my concerns about the jailing of a lady for a food bill that she obviously apparently didn't have the funds to pay for, and gave a card that was did not have the funds, and felt that while we don't endorse people going to get things that they're not supposed to get, there were certain things there that we felt there could have been something worked out beyond getting the person in jail, and we kind of expressed our feelings about that. And essentially we disagreed with the judge. And we don't get to hear what a judge is thinking, or we are not in court, so we don't know all of that. We just kind of like, based on what we had to work with, we said, guess what, we disagree with that. A couple days after we find out that a young man hangs himself in jail, and we find out that one, similarly to the case that we spent a couple mornings last week speaking about, there's a mental illness question here, but beyond the mental illness, we find out that the young man's offense was riding a bike without a headlight. And so again, we're looking at a situation where, again, this young man, according to the report that we have seen, killed himself in his jail cell, even though there was some recognition that the young man did have a mental illness problem. And so again, I have to question how we reach there. That's somebody's child, that's somebody's loved one. And maybe you've never had a loved one that has had mental illness that you know, that is obvious to the naked eye, because we know that mental illness affects us all, because there's so many different kinds of mental illnesses. But they're the ones that we know about when we say, oh, that person crazy. That's the word we use, right? Quote unquote, that person crazy. So there are certain illnesses that manifest themselves loudly, and you know, okay, there is something wrong here. But those are not the only mental illnesses or the only way to have a mental problem. We know that there are various forms, just like the body has different things that goes wrong with it, and everybody has had that, unless they are supernatural. But we have problems. But let's say we just think about those who have these forms of mental illnesses that are obvious, disruptive, difficult to cope with, and require, maybe at times requires even institutionalization for treatment. Apparently this young man had a mental issue, and those involved knew because, again, according to the report, that he was placed in a cell for that is specific for somebody who has this problem. And again, there's also in the report that he had drugs in his possession. We're not told what kind of drug he had in possession, what quantity of drug he had in his possession. The one thing we know that his arrest was based on him riding a bicycle without a headlight, and that's against the law. And of course, Belize is that kind of society where, we are Singaporean in our enforcement of rules and regulations, right? This is who we are. Now, when we were coming up, many of us of my generation know that riding a bicycle without a bell on a bike, it would be a seasonal enforcement, and you would know that that's when, of course, the late iconic police officer, Officer Tablada, made a name for himself because he would, he and his team would rung you up if you had a bicycle that didn't have a bell. But we have a call. Krem, good morning, WB.
Morning, brother. Good morning.
Good morning, brother. What's going on?
I hear already about the conversation with the men, where we said I want mental patient, but I said I want drug patient.
Uh-huh.
All right? Because the man, no one again, the man, well, no one again, the man different thing. You understand? The man different thing, but my thing that is most, you go back to when they charge the man for, go back to how much they charge him for, and watch out, the man lose the life for that. Because then by the end of the day, the man for a long time, the man now person has been kind of behavior that moves the part. He don't give up life, but everybody know him, Everybody know a cool person, everybody know a joyful person, because people are coming to know him. But the thing is right here, I understand, right, is that we see a lot of people in our position there, and then by the end of the day, we say they're crazy. We say they go for themselves. We say they're mad people. I take a trip back at the health center to the end of Bernard Street, and I sit down and talk to some people. And that's our principal part. You will find most of these people each and every day because that's a resting spot, that's a spot of comfort, and that's a spot like here. The thing is that then people back at that area there where the health center is that these people can't maintain it because they, and as you can understand, they want small substance from government and the rest is donation. I do want live to do a donation to them about 2 or 3 years ago because I'm sitting in a cabinet for the putting groceries in me. Trust me, that may I say.
So before you go further, Bert, so you knew the young man, you knew him.
I don't know him.
When I say that, I'm not saying that he was an associate of yours. I was saying like, well, you've seen him around, and you're. Yeah, and he. So tell me something. You did wrong. Famous for your show on social media, where the streets they say, which would suggest that you're there wrong on the ground. I know you're there wrong on the ground. What percentage of people you say where they ride bike right now have one light on their bike?
None.
All right. What percentage? All right, respect to that. But what percentage are they ride the bike without bell, for example?
None.
Good. Good. So this young man was seen, and you see, listen, the concern why I have, birds, is how we could be, how we so, what I call it, selective with for we strictness, and the way, and for we toughness. We so strict and tough, right? So you admit that the young man have a drug problem. He riding a bike without light. Do we like that he had a drug problem? No. Is that what we want for our young people? No. He's riding a bike without light. Is there a law that says you're supposed to have your light on your bike? Yes.
You know, Mose, the reality is there is a law for light and bill. But we don't follow that. David, the police department who ride bikes, somebody who ride bikes, don't have light and bill on their bike. Because somebody ride without it. You understand? But there's selective. You see when you're bringing them, hurry come up, police officers will take small training, observe, and not take training of dealing with people from one-on-one in a relation. Yeah, kind of hard because they want to stop their man there, alright? But they not stop a man like me. You understand? I see it happen. Many times. I see what people, police, pay attention to people like where like yo you could look on a person and see the condition and position over there now. I call it like for your waste of time with your harassment. You know what I'm saying? And you got the real people who want to pass up every day. We're supposed to stop and search and deal with on a daily basis. But my thing is this month, you got a lot of people like that for the place. You see what happening? That young brother, I know a young brother for a long time, but that young brother come from good people, good background. But you see most when I want people out on the street, I want to sit down and smoke with the people and hang out with people. Everybody different to no most. You got some people out there so we want to up your life, you know. Remember what because you are sitting and smoking them, but then I tell you that boom, why I put people in on my thing, or why I put fontaine on my thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I always telling you out there, be careful when you smoke weed. Don't sit down and smoke.
Well, I mentioned a couple weeks, well, not a couple weeks, it would have been before I never up on a show, so we are looking at maybe a month and a half, but definitely this year. I mentioned that I'd had a conversation with Polo, and Polo was saying, listen, crack has come back, and that you know we remember that we had the crack epidemic in the 80s and in the 90s, but once the young generation saw what crack was doing and how it reduced people, we ended up with a significant decrease in crack usage. In fact, you would see, you know, it became, remember in the 80s and 90s, like, you know, everywhere you look, you had people who were affected by it. There's been a reduction, and so he's saying, well, now in 2025, the young who have not experienced the crack epidemic of the 80s and 90s are now there is a revisiting to this drug, and that there is an increase in the number of people. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, better than that, Mose. Crack is back, right? But crack brings stuff without powder. I could remember powder and one thing Mose apart. Believe in the city, you couldn't afford powder because they weigh 100 and that they weigh $50 a gram and so. Now powder they weigh 5 and 10.
Yeah, because they're priming for me these things are never just random, right? Because we did hear about, oh, there's cheap cocaine running around the streets, and then in the aftermath of that we hear, oh, crack usage is on the rise. So they prime you with cheap cocaine, and then when it is that is no longer available or affordable, then they have the crack for you. Crack was that was what made crack such a successful product, was that it. I never claim for the out there like you, but I know the fight with you. I know the fight with you. Yes, sir.
The crack that side, because the crack when they give it, it's just sick, make you look like zombie and things. No, the popular thing, the cocaine is every Mose. I want to listen to me good.
I have no choice. Tell me.
Nearly everybody and anybody Mose, especially young females. Listen to it, young females. partner to find you to drink and you party at you and feeling. You always want a feeling. But one lot of young ladies are into it. I know what they tell you. I live on the island a lot. And if I want to party with Beyonce, if I want to party with Jennifer Lopez, if I want to party with Mariah Carey, anyone of them, I don't forget my report because they tell you to their mouth, yo, give us the lines and hey, we hang all night. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
This is the reality that I see. Moving around in a Placencia, some people close out, you name it anywhere because that is popular. In fact, that's trending. That is not becoming legal. Right now, as I speak. And a lot of young people
So
into it.
let's not.
Well, a lot of young people.
So the point would be that here you have a young man. He has some struggles. He has some troubles, and he's caught up. In my view, this is somebody that needs an intervention, and I'm sure that his family has been trying with him. But I don't. But I don't see where he needed a jail cell. I don't see where he needed a jail cell or why a jail cell was what was required because of whatever with the offenses that have been revealed publicly. Riding a bike without a headlight and obviously maybe being in possession. They didn't say what type of drug. Let us say it's crack, and he had crack in possession. So now we got to take you straight to jail. Like for me, it's within a minute you're in a jail cell. Like that's crazy to me. I really disagree with that.
We mix up mental health with drug addict is a big difference. We mix up mental health with when people get.
And I think I disagree with you that there's some big. Yes, technically these are two separate things, but very often they ride together. That you understand?
You have to take something to trigger something.
So, me could be real upon that.
My thing is Mose, the $500 to make the man come out, to bail
$500 again.
Yeah, no happening, right? The reality is, you work it, or we lose life. I could imagine our family, because sometimes your family tries to no more. Your family tries to, but the reality is that your family can only do so much because at the end of the day, you make a decision, you make a choice, but your family have to wash your hand out for you. Can you realize, okay, what you do, you want to do what you want to do.
Right.
You got a lot of people like that, with everybody in the family, they just start drinking and they are minding. The man choose the wrong over everybody. You know? Everybody got to come here to another family.
It's at the end of the day, but it's still sad, right? Like it's still like, oh man, that's really tragic that somebody they go through their struggles, right? Like nobody they say that that there are not some problems here, but for making the NI life come through that essentially, you know, if he kill, again the report is that he killed himself, ending up in a jail cell was too much for him. Obviously, that's based on.
Whether I know that the problem, I know you want to say it, but I mean, that was sure. But make I tell you my side, how my view. The thing is this, right? Is that one lot of we come from a good generation and good family, but here what are the problem we know? All right? The problem we know is that when we lose these people who may pile with, who we know that once these first people living, once this family member living on my or granny, anybody who's never got your back, when they're living on a poor boat. But when these people pass away and you don't pay your own, the reality is that you think everybody else want to pick you. Everybody want to pick you after that, hey, one thing I know about the world, we're not coming out of the world where a boss don't want to pick you. Because the world has no sympathy for nobody who don't want to sympathize for themselves. That the reality become a lot of you try to out yourself. We're going to rock and rock and pour everything. These people, I could look on there and identify them and tell them that these people come from a humble beginning. These people come from a good family. But sometimes, again, the reality is that when these people come out of your life and you look on your own to survive, no man know a picture out of us. No man
hear you.
Every day I walk on the city Mose, the things that I see, some of them are not to be mentioned, and some of them are not to talk about. Some of them, I look for it and turn a blind eye because I don't know business. You understand? But every day in the street of Mose, when I go to the same camp, right? I got people that approach me, we want you with them, want to the same camp, but it's not sick because it's personal thing that they want us to put in the media out there for WB the money, but then I think why I say no. I can't put that out there, brother. You get what I'm saying? That's personal.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. Give thanks to the reasoning, brother.
All right.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. This is WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Telephone number is 280-5848. That's the way it works. We love when your calls, so jump in. I don't know what you're waiting for. It's Monday morning, brand new Monday morning, and we're looking at things that are important for us to have a conversation about. Again, the good, the bad, the in-between, the ugly. Sometimes a lot of ugly. I find it extremely ugly that I feel a young man that, again, as my brother there mentioned, we don't know how much has gone into trying to rescue him. Again, he's saying that the family has tried, and families try. It's a tough one. A person that is both with a drug habit, with a drug addiction, and also having mental health issues. It's a very difficult one. The system decided that a jail cell was the option for him for the offense of riding a bike without a light. And he then killed himself in that jail cell within a couple of days of being there. That's ugly. And again, we have no doubt more people, more young people out here who are having their struggles and troubles, and we have to reflect as to, well, what we do. How do we handle that? How do we take care of our loved ones who now face such nightmarish realities, right? That's a huge one. It's 10 minutes after 7 o'clock. We have a call. Krem, good morning, WB.
Hello, good morning, Mose.
Good morning, sir.
I hope that you hear me better this morning than the other morning, brother.
It sounds clear to me up to now.
The hope is there, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
More than the caller that has been calling for years.
Yes, sir.
About people's mental problems.
Yes,
or
sir.
mental challenge.
Yes, sir.
The young man that is in the morgue right now should have been in a mental facility. He ain't fit to go on a court to stand trial, my brother. You see, and I've been calling for years about mental. I don't know, and I not only a radio station. Nobody. They say this pandemic, and a pandemic for the streets right there. A lot of young people, most. I tell you, I don't know what you kind of say.
In fact, the last time you called, when we could hear you, you were saying this as well. So I can testify to the fact that that you have been consistent on this. You're the only caller that has made this a thing that you've been calling attention to. So.
Most of prison is not for mentally challenged people, especially some of the petty crimes. When they need to buy a bicycle or arrest me from a piece of crap. You cannot have to laugh with nobody. Notice people with mental challenge when they like space, they walk out. Somebody walk and lay the bill and back all day. So when we build a facility, you have to be acres and acres of facility. You have to be big. And they have to got all the proper tools, including personnel, to deal with these
mentally time of people that create the one thing. Then when they do something out there, the way they are, I know if they do something, you know, but you know, but we don't do nothing about it. And this is very key, my brother. That young man, and I had to tell a family member, they have a case because he should have never been in an open. Never. That like girl says too much for you, the lack of in ourselves. It is too much. So we have to advocate for a proper facility. Spend the money, just like on the get the airport, people and the security when they find that million. And then they collect money before they start to work. Start to invest in our people, my brother. Please. That these people can be treated and put back into society and become productive citizens. Mose, I know our brother got the worst mental problem. And you know that brother right now, one of my friends I have to call name or so I know. He's a millionaire. He gets back and get his own business and become a millionaire. Honestly. Don't know illegal. So you can get back. I know I'm a plumber in Belize. A plumber now calling him. We Ghana. People tease him on the street, and a brother right now is one of the best plumbers. Get back and trust. You see, these people are not people who say they are not sure anyway. Because when one of them gets on the bus, I'm able to stop up for 10 people on the outside. I know that they're out, you know. But it could have been a Friday.
We also
give them the necessary help.
we also have to make young people understand that, and while it's an unpleasant point that Brick made, is that we live in our unsympathetic society in that regard there, and we see how the system will approach you if you get caught up out here, because you not take much for you not take much wrong choices to make you end up in a bad way. You don't need more than one try at a drug for you become something we are hooked on. You don't know how you want to respond. You have to have that consciousness, because when you fall down, you see what happen. You're the ride on a bike without light, and the next minute you know they're in a jail. Because we know how to be selectively tough. We selectively tough, brother. We selectively know how all of a sudden we got laws. All manners of law get broke constantly in this place. But if you down, you drop the ground, they are march on top of your head top in this place, unfortunately.
Right.
So we have to talk that part. We have to make, the young, they have to keep their eyes open and realize, your margin of error small out here, especially if you know well-to-do. Your margin of error very narrow. One bad choice could be this is your story. It's a sad story. 100 for that. But I just want to reiterate the point that you made, that you don't only care about one thing when you reach one level like this, and you have proven that you have maintained your crusade, that there is a lot of a lot of troubled individuals out on the street, and the level of intervention, and it's out of these conversations we had found out some months ago that there was a shortage of the drugs that have been used for help people. I don't know if that has been corrected, if that still is the case, but there was no announcement that was made. It was because somebody called in after a call like this and say, hey, are you aware that this is a situation going on? So we don't even know. I don't know the update on that, and whether that matter has been resolved. Hello. Your phone is start with a clicking thing again, so I know that your phone.
Why you bring in the minister? Yeah, they are up again. Against my phone.
Yeah, your phone go on.
Why you bring in the minister? Why you interview the minister? Ask them whether the situation and about mental health people.
All right, my brother. Give
Yeah,
thanks.
all right, brother. That's
Yeah. That little situation we turn there with the clicking on your phone. It's 18 minutes after 7 o'clock. This is the WB Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes. The telephone number for you to call in 280-5848. That is the live line for you to participate in the conversation. And I don't know if that makes me just uh, like, I don't know if that make me soft. Some people out the road maybe say, well, you dip on drugs, you ride on a bike without light, system get on well, that will happen, right? Some people might have that view. I don't see that. I don't see it being soft to say, hey, that just seems a bit extreme for me. That was how it would go for that young man. Krem, good morning, WB.
yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Two things I observed, man. Greed and corruption. And when you want to know a man's character, you have power. Thank you.
All right, my brother. This is a WB Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes. It's 19 minutes after 7 o'clock. What we'll do right now is to jump into 2 Cents Calm, sponsored by 4th Security. Then we take our first break of the morning. This is the Monday morning edition of Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes. Mose Hyde in the studios with you on this Monday morning, the 26th of May 2025, and you're listening to Creme Radio. You're, of course, watching us on XTV, and we're inviting you to be a part of the conversation. You just need to give us a call. The number to call is 280-5848. That is the live line for you to participate in the conversation. And so we had our first publicized returning home of our peoples from the United States of America. And as has been the case, excuse me, as has been the case, it was something that was made for the theatrical effect, the dramatic effect. I guess we have to be thankful that our people were not sent to be imprisoned in El Salvador. We have to be thankful that our people were not sent to Guantanamo Bay. We have to be thankful that our people were not sent, as is now being considered, to Libya. They say that home is where you can never be turned away. And that is such an important thing, right? Home is where you can never be turned away. And I agree with those people that are pushing back against the characterization of our people who have been sent home by the United States of America as it's some kind of shame. No shame. There's no shame. It's for those who are, and we are, a country that the majority of people claimed are followers of the Judeo-Christian philosophy and beliefs and faith. Majority of Belizeans are of the Christian faith, and whether or not you are of the Christian faith or not, most people are familiar with the story of the prodigal son. And that is a story about a child that gone boy business, and me dip on your own timing. We ain't up back. Where you come from? And was that person treated unkindly, according to the story that we all know so well? In his honor, there was a feast. There was a celebration. You come back home. That's for we. That yeah, we could never turn you away. How we end up the carry? I mean, if somebody has a criminal charge, I can understand them having to be processed by the police station. Why people who have been sent back home because of an immigration offense in the United States of America would have to go and be processed at the police station, I have no idea what that is about. And why we do not have to, at least to my knowledge, we don't have any obligation to participate in the grand theater that the United States is trying to, that's their right to want to make as grand a thing as possible as their quote unquote messaging to us, but we don't have any obligations to join in. then could bring the fanciest plane and try and make the grandest entry of their process of sending back our people, but we don't have we are not duty bound to be partners in that, or are we? Why we to do the fullest? Security people, like, look what it can now. That were people, eh? Who amongst we not have somebody where that the whole then get started in on a journey that the great United States of America, meaning they overstay their visa and somehow they work it out and, as we would say, getting papers fixed. And when they get their papers fixed, these some things start to, even before the papers fixed, some things start to get sent back home, some things start to drop down here and we get one lead thing. So how we turn now like, oh, there is a shame. There is a shame. There's no shame. There's no shame to our people who have been sent home. America has its laws. Mighty America, you have your laws. And you have done no offense to enforce your laws. But we also know that there is more to this than just defending your laws. But that's on you. We know it's more to it. We know. But the part that deals with the laws, and our people are there on overstayed visas, or maybe they didn't even have a visa to begin with. Try one thing, and now you're enforcing your laws and you're putting them on a plane and making it a grand thing. Again, it's your laws. We understand. But what we have control over, no make nobody make we feel shame about our people. No, that's the part now that we control. Don't make somebody come and criminalize our people to us. No. It's completely unacceptable in my view. And we did last week, I must say, we made it a grand thing for them. We participated in this grand theatrical moment of the United States of America under its new leadership, being preoccupied with people, whether from here and other countries like this. Got to ship them out. Got to get them back home. But less than a week and a half ago, this same administration welcomed a plane load of South Africans to the United States. They were met at the airport by no less than a Deputy Secretary of State personnel. Welcome home. We got your back. There's one aspect of those South Africans, though, that were welcomed. I think it was a group about 59. There was one aspect about them. One thing they all shared, coming from the motherland, continent, South Africa, they were all white. So the same country that says it has to be defending the country for its people, We must be here for Americans. We must be here for our people. And so we can't be taking your people. We don't have the space, we don't have the resources to be dealing with people who are seeking asylum from countries where they are going through all manners of things. We don't have the space for that. We've got to deny and revoke whatever we have given to those people from Haiti. We have to deny the people that are trying to get asylum from countries in Latin America. Yes, you're gone. We gonna plan for you. But apparently, unbeknownst to almost the entire planet, there's been a genocide going on in South Africa. I mean, the only places where we actually hear the word genocide being used on a regular basis in the news is that there is a genocide going on in Sudan, there's a genocide going on in the Middle East. Apparently, the most important people to be saved. And again, the United States of America is an independent, sovereign empire nation. It is a mighty, mighty, probably they often boast it's the world's greatest nation in strength, in economy, in military, in the history of mankind. So we're not talking here about, this is not an ordinary nation state, but as a nation state, but especially so as the planet's empire, they could do what they want. So they want to send out one message about who they prefer, who they deem to be the present rulers of that empire, who they deem to be priority number one. Who we for say anything about that? Where we control is where we feel about we, and where we feel about them people where they send home. So make we not participate in our process. We're not innocent at all. We're not just about rules and laws. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. I'm sorry, but when you, at the same time when you are contemplating dumping our people, primarily what we're talking about, non-white people, and you think maybe we should send them to Libya. Many of them don't know where on the planet Libya is. Sending people, considering sending them to Guantanamo Bay, considering and sending people who are not from El Salvador to go and be imprisoned in Salvador. And the same space, same time, you have a grand ceremony to welcome people who are fleeing this fictitious genocide. Again, that's the message you want to give us. That's not the message that we are manufacturing. And we have to not be blind to the message. We have to understand how you feel. And we can't control how you feel. No, we not to say that all Americans feel that way. But the majority have enabled a mindset and a worldview that does. And that is what is being projected on us. So you have a big plane drop off our people and you stage a big event, and we supply the military presence and security presence to make sure that it is a made for TV moment. Man, watch ya. Then are we. And if anybody, the administration where they run the empire right now, then could deem them for be how they want. Because we not got no say with that. But we better not think that they're less than nobody. Absolutely no. Welcome home. Welcome home. Obviously, if somebody has done something criminally wrong and we have to hold them accountable for that, well, that's the process. That's the way it works. But for me, just regular nobody, gonna talk show. The United States of America has been a place that has been, many of our people have gone and they've been able to do well for themselves, and they have contributed to that nation state, and there are many of them who did not get there by proper means, but once it is they were made, once it is that was corrected, they've been a part of building your nation, building your empire. They've been a part of your military. They have fought your wars. They've been on your battlefields. Some have died. Oh yeah. You don't have to tell us that part. You don't want to, but we better tell ourselves that part. We better remind ourselves of that. Oh yes, we've had, like with any process in the world, somehow we gone there and get trouble. Somehow we gone there and get ourselves right in a trouble and do something simple, do something wrong, do something bad. So somehow we have been dealt with according to their laws by that. But the majority of us, some of whom didn't get there, as they say, never gone there by plane. But when they get it corrected, they do a thing. And their descendants are a part of your society, a part of building your empire. And yes, so we now know you have your right to crack down. You're doing what you're doing. You made it known this was going to happen, so this is no surprise. And we know that this is going to continue. But we here who have benefited from this can't now look at this and view our people who are being sent home as somehow, oh my goodness, what an embarrassment. In fact, I was having a conversation some weeks ago and I was saying the pressure is now on us, the pressure is now on the state, the pressure is now on our leaders, and not just Belize, because that closing off of that highway for some of us to try to find a better thing now means that you are on the clock. You see all these young people graduating right now, coming out of high school, some coming out of sixth form, some coming out of the university, some coming back home. You're on the clock to create a society that is able to keep pace with their dreams, keep pace with the opportunities that they want. They want to see a way. People don't go another country just because, or people who have left is because they were seeking a better way, they wanted something, right? Question is, now we have to step up, because the ability and the opportunity to go other places is now closing off. There's a spirit of that we, the most powerful country on the planet. I mean, it blows my mind that they are telling one of their most, if not their most prestigious university, you cannot have international students here anymore. It's a, oof, man. I mean, they're about it. Then they go all in on this. Without apology, they're good. We can't ignore this. We cannot be unaffected by this. We can't just get vexed and cuss up them. That don't mean nothing. They have a right, and they have determined this is how they want to be. The question is, where we are be Bowie? Where we are feel Bowie? And starting with those that they sent home last week, you feel no way. No feel no shame. No feel like nothing happened. You just have to figure it out, and we have to figure it out. But you are less than no one, even though their messaging would want to suggest to us that some are better than us. Superior is the word. Because that's what the messaging is. When you have special flights to get out people who share one thing in common, 90% of all the people that they're sending out, if not more, 90, I would say more, are people who are non-white, people of color, brown, black. But one incoming flight, you have one welcoming ceremony saying that they are victims of genocide. And if you are younger than 30, or younger than 30, younger than 30, 35, you never exist in a world where part of we consciousness as young people was the idea that we had our people who were, a majority of people who were being treated as subhuman beings in our lifetime, not in the history book. We grew up in our time and consciousness when Mandela was in jail. That's how we started to sing the name of Mandela in songs, in reggae songs primarily. It wasn't in our school or in our history books. We were being told. We have a generation of people where we find out about apartheid through music. But we grew up with the consciousness. We know the legacy. We know what happened there, because we lived that. So to now sit and watch, it's like mind-blowing. But again, the empire is the empire, and they have chosen this, and this is their messaging, and we have no control over that. We obviously are diplomatic partners. We have to continue, or we have a relationship. We have different things going on between us, but we can't ignore the messaging. You are telling us this is how you feel. And at the very least, we cannot allow them to dictate how we feel about our people, which means ourselves. So don't rejoice in the fact that our people have been. Don't rejoice as somehow we're hard. Look what happened to Uno. Most people who have taken that risk. It's a risk. It's a risk. They're not wicked people to take a risk to try to do better. Yes, some of us gone if we do nonsense. Get that. That always gonna person is any set of human beings where they're not about nonsense. But the majority of we have been about trying to live and have contributed all in talent all their abilities, all their energy, all their prime years to lifting self and lifting this empire that they have lived in. That is the truth. That is the full narrative. That is the full story. But now there's a reckoning. I found out that some of the biggest Belizean American festivals in the United States have been cancelled this year. That's what I have heard. I've heard that the one of the most famous ones in Chicago is not taking place. It's one of the biggest. I've never been to it, but I've seen the videos. And that's one of the biggest festivals that we have in the world. But apparently it's not going to be held this year, and there is a feeling that maybe it's a result of what's going on. Krem, good morning, WUB.
Yeah. I want to know why they make that a spectacle, so people get reported every year, big man. Check out Salvador, we're 100, but believe, I guess in New Zealand, kind of sensitive to Channel 5 and Channel 7. That's a like everyday thing. Then they report Obama, they put more people than all the president put together. So this is not new way that Donald Trump to go. But they make it sensitive and you put it like in a bash the people in that they can send more that this is a regular thing, the people are going to try a meeting. Come on, where's the big deal? They come back home, nobody government is supposed to do. Try to get a land and find any jobs and things and incorporate them back into society and do the right thing. That's it. Simple. Alright? You have three people in Belizean, they just come back home.
Yeah, but
alright, that's all.
yeah. I mean, it is a thing to report on. Absolutely. I think the way it was done, all the police and security people being there, and then taking the people to police station, that's what I am lamenting about. But Krem, good morning, WB.
Yeah, I know you usually do this, brother. Mose call back.
Yes, ma'am.
But things are up on the situation with the people that have been deported, no?
Mm-hmm.
You see, the spectacle happened there, brother Mose. Remember the $125 million, you know, they're on the line, US. They're on the line, they brother want that back. When they take away from you. Remember that millennium money, they want that money. So they have to show. So we know they understand they have to show. That's the way they happen there. Now you got 21 person has been deported back. One of them is that she was concerned about some murder charge. That's the one. The other one, maybe they're looking for something else. But the rest, when we look on there, when you're handling it like a lone, what you're the worst criminal, you're not terrorists, you come back home and you're terrorists. And they say that all is spectacle out there. You have to understand 125 million US is on the line. The brother of the Prime Minister, you know, see, for a private conversation or phone call, with the brother named Marco Rubio, you think their money they not discuss? You have to show. We have to give up something, and we have to give up with people when it comes to get money. Some of them brother want to sell them mass to get money. That's the way you have to understand this thing bigger where you just sit there. Their money are the grants. When you get them money, they but free for all. We in a mucho. We in a mucho when their money come, my brother. So this is the way they happen. They got to show up. Now when I go up an international thing and brother, why I believe they really handle it, you know. Make us see where we could push out on the side to them, make it feed there and eat something. I prefer to own people. That's so they do it. You take care, brother.
All right, my brother. 2 minutes after 8 o'clock. We'll take a break and come back. This is Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes. All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize morning vibes. It's 14 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Monday morning, and we gather around for reason and talk weekday mornings to start the day as the sun gets up. We do the same. Always a pleasure. We're glad that you've taken the time out for listen, for watch, and more importantly, for those who are calling, the telephone number 280-5848. This morning we spoke about the tragedy of this young man who ended up taking his life in prison after being sent there for violation of a light on a bicycle and apparently a drug possession charge. Mental health patient, and just we kind of spoke about that, and then we've spoken a bit in the second break about our people being shipped home, well, not shipped home, but being flown home as United States of America is going through its crackdown on quote unquote undocumented immigrants. One of the stories that has really emerged in 2025, and one of the leaders that has emerged in 2025 is the president. Oh, I don't know if the leader, I don't know if he calls himself the president, he's the army officer that leads the African country of Burkina Faso. And he emerged last year, I believe, took power. And at this point, he's like reached a level of popularity, a lot of it on social media around the world, in African nations and in African diaspora nations in the Caribbean, in Europe, where the African diaspora people of African descent, and she's just skyrocketed in popularity, and a whole lot of social media videos about him and what he has done and his speeches, and people are extremely inspired by Ibrahim Traore. And maybe, Christy, you can find a picture of Ibrahim Traore for those who might not know. And it's kind of similar, imagine, to how popular people like in the past, people like Fidel became for, standing up. And one of the things I have learned in this life is that from a distance, you don't know all the realities, you don't know all what is going on, and people at times are easy to find their heroes when they are far away, because they don't have to deal with their shortcomings, they don't have to deal with, from a distance it's all romantic and it all looks good, and we create our heroes and we're inspired by them. So I don't know all the details of what everyday life is like under the leadership of Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. I don't know that I would want to live in a country where somebody takes power, and even when they're doing things that are good things and standing up, I'm always concerned about how that person is treating dissent. I'm always concerned about how that person is treating people who might not favor him or like him or her, and how that person is treating the media, it's hard for know all in details, and especially now in 2025, you have to be very concerned about social media. I know that, you know, I see some videos pop up and I'm like, okay, I don't, this is like some bots doing some work here, and I get it, I get all of that. But there are certain aspects of his leadership since he took power which have stood out and are undeniable. The actions of somebody who is standing upright. He's not on bended knee, and he's not somebody that is afraid to speak to the powerful nations, to the colonial imperial powers. And so he has become, in a very short period of time, he has almost iconic status. Some weeks ago, there were marches held in various countries. I know in Jamaica, there's been an outpouring of support and solidarity with him. In the UK and youths in African nations, a lot of it is young people in these nations that are really looking at the leadership status, the projection of standing up straight to the powerful and to say, we are no longer going to be your little licky. We are no longer going to be here just for you to take. And so he, in this time, in this era, is emerging as one of those voices and one of those leaders again that is really now being recognized. And there is a concern as well that whenever such leaders have emerged, in particular in Africa, they don't live too long. Somebody will find a way. And so there is this kind of fear and anxiety. And again, a lot of this has to do with young people who have really taken to this guy. If you're not, if all you do is watch CNN and all you do is watch Fox News, all you do is watch MSNBC, you don't know the phenom that Ibrahim Traore has become to what they call the global south. I guess the last person that has reached this kind of status would maybe have been Hugo Chavez. But Ibrahim Traore has become this leader. He is basically kicked out France, taken over the resources of their country, and so there are things being done. And again, for me, I'm not going to jump up and get somebody's poster and put it on my wall. You don't know everything. But what I want to focus on is that the fact, at least the narrative that has been created around him, like nobody else. This is 2025, like on social media and YouTube, like you can find videos every day being uploaded. And a lot of it, I fear, is because he is strategically, and as he has a right to do, has said, listen, I am going to choose my friends, whoever is going to be most fair. So he has not been leaning towards the West. He has created a strong alliance with Russia and Mr. Putin. And so, there's just a bombardment of videos that covers him, and he is very savvy with social media, very, very. This is legitimately a very strong presence, very strong energy, and he made his name fighting on the ground in the army. So all of this is taking place. But what I am focusing on, not so much what's going on in Burkina Faso and what's going on with their leader, but I'm focusing on how much adoration and how much interest and love has been created by his uprightness, about his courage and the fact that he has his back straight, he's not bowing down in this time, and his willingness to call out leaders in Africa who have essentially, in his view, been bowing down, who are on the knee. And he's saying the time to be on the knee is over. And the fact that that rhetoric has resonated, that so much people love hear that around the world. Again, here in Belize, not so much. There's not been a lot of coverage of this guy. But in other places, again, not in the United States of America. In fact, in the United States of America, you have contingent of black Americans who have gone to Burkina Faso to say, listen, we there at your disposal because we've been waiting for a leader from the continent that brings this kind of energy. So that's what, he has a huge fan club, that's my point. Huge fan club. Again, I know to get into, I don't know everything to say, well, okay, put this guy's poster on your wall. I don't know that. But the fact that that message has been grabbed onto, again, a lot of young people, you can go on YouTube and you can see rallies that have been done. Remember, now, these are not people who they're not from Burkina Faso, but they are rallying with this dude. And in fact, some weeks ago, he uncovered a plot to try to assassinate him, which is standard, par for the course if you want to keep your back straight. And so he uncovered a plot, and there were rallies around the world in support, saying, don't touch this guy. And so when he visited Russia, his personal plane for Mr. Putin brought him from Burkina Faso to Russia to meet him. He's being treated as a very special guy. And he has a huge global fan club. The point of saying all of that about Ibrahim Traore, besides giving you a little bit of an encouragement to kind of do for yourself, find out, what he has said, what he represents, what are the things that he has done in his country. There's a lot of stuff that have been put out there. And just recently now, you've had some major publications covering him and speaking, and so some of the major Western news sites are now writing articles about him, so they're trying to catch up on the narrative, but the narrative is out there, and he has already created this kind of adoration around the planet. The primary reason I'm focusing on that is to say there is a reason why just the outline of his approach as a leader has moved people and have inspired people, because they are starving for a message and an energy that is about standing upright. standing head high, straight back, no bowing, no bending. So even if, and there's undoubtedly as a human being, as any leader, and we have to accept this, right? Some people, they want to make a hero of somebody and think, oh, this is perfection here. There's no such thing. There's never been. A leader will make mistakes, and a leader will do nonsense, and he will have parts where things where I say, okay, I don't like that part. We did deal with the core message of having courage and say we want to resist being colonized in 2025. We're not there with that. We are tired of that. We don't want to be anybody's colony in 2025. And the essence of that message has created a great energy. But we have a call. Krem, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're live on the air, yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. Good morning. I'm calling. Mose, I am listening to you talking about this Burkina Faso president, and I want to say, what do you recommend for Belize, that we do to get us to where we need to be? Because indeed, Belize is not a poor country. It's our politicians that makes us poor. And then they decided to get in bed with the U.S. And everybody know that U.S. was built on the backs of others because they don't work. They just trick people out of what they have. I'm of the opinion that we were doing better under the British, and Belize is moving away from British. But I think one thing about the British is that we know that they don't like us, and we like to say, oh, white people don't like we. They white people don't like we. They white people living like themselves. It's up to us to love ourselves and for us to work, and as you said, to stop begging and stop accepting these wolves in sheep clothing, because for every dollar America gives to you or grant to Belize, they get 10 million back. We are a country of resources, just like Burkina Faso. We are a country of resources. They came in, they closed down all our, they closed down our banana industry, they messed up our citrus industry, the shrimp farm is gone, the papaya farm is gone, the Dickies company is gone, and Belizeans are still, oh, America the great, America the great. America is not great for us. Even our education system, that we decided to follow the America curriculum, and most of their kids are, doom and gloom, and our kids are having the same problem. From 1990s and 1990s, when they changed our curriculum, they took out phonics, they took out verbal reasoning, they took out all this good stuff. Now our kids are graduating from January 6, and it's like they're graduating from kindergarten. I could remember back in our days when we used to graduate from January 6, we were good enough to join the police force, we were good enough to join the Belize Defense Force, we were good enough to make something of ourselves. That's how our parents raised us. I'm not knocking education, 100% down. What I'm saying is that as a people, we need to think better for ourselves, and we need to realize that not everything given to us is a gift.
So, thank you for the call and engaging me on the issue. I'm curious though. Yourself, you have seen stuff on Ibrahim Traoré. You've followed a couple of the stories on him and know some of the stuff that he has done. Oh, she's gone. I wanted to ask you a question and you're gone off of the phone. Yeah, I was curious to know whether or not you had seen some of the stuff. And I imagine, being that we are living in a social media era where a lot of what we are learning, and again, we have to be careful with social media. We have to be careful with these videos. There's a lot of fake stuff. And you have to always give it the smell test. So, take everything grain of salt, because it's the thing about it is that some of these things that you get has everything to suggest that legitimate. But you have to be careful, right? Krem, good morning, WB.
Yes, Mo, sorry about that. I hung up because I thought my time was up. But yes, I do follow some of the stuff on Abraham Traore, or however you pronounce his
that's
name.
how I say
I
his
do
name.
follow some of it, and I like what I hear. My only concern is him getting into bed with Russia and North Korea, I think. And I know he has to do something to protect himself because he's in a really rough position when it comes to his safety, and his family safety. So I understand all that good stuff. But yes, I do follow him at times.
Yeah,
Well, not in his stories.
Yeah. So I feel that what is important is that what people have fell in love with is that there is a message of sovereignty. There is a message that we want to control our destiny, and we don't want to continue being dependent to being so the dependency. What you give me is so that you can take from me the only thing I have. And so there is this message that no, we cannot continue the formula of a colonial colonial formula, and then you say we are friends because it suits you. We're not doing that. If the formula is not, you can't be, it's hard for any state to say, I just want to be about me and I don't want to bother with nobody. So somebody will say, well, man, you deal with Russia. It's like you want to deal with somebody. You want to deal with China. You want to end up to deal with somebody. You have to deal with somebody. It's not about not dealing with people. It's about dealing with people on terms where they respect you and know, guess what? I am not here to be on my knee. You will respect us as human beings with the same wants where Europeans want, the same thing where Americans want. We want to. And our leaders can no longer continue for the cut one deal outside of that formula. So I think that is what make this guy they get a kind of global love way to get, because he speaks these things, but more importantly, some of the actions that he has done represents that they're taking control of the nation's goal and so on. I'm just the message for me is that especially the young, they want to be inspired and they want to have that sense of belief, and they want to see that kind of courage being modeled by their leaders. They want to see, like this whole thing where we are, and I bring this up because the reason why I brought it up is because the last caller before I went to break mentioned our dependency on this $125 million millennium thing. So if that is how we are going to build, dependent on whether somebody gives you access to $125 million, then you will always be looked at as being on your knee, and they will tell you what to do. They will tell you when to jump. They will take what they want to take, and we will forever be in this colonial type of relationship. So that is why I raised the matter of Abraham Traore.
Exactly, Mose. And that's what I'm saying is, what are we going to do as a people? Because at the end of the day, it will come down to our leaders. They only look at us when they need us to get in that position. What do we need to do as a people that when they get in that position, they do the right thing? You understand? Because before they get in the position, you hear all kind of nice stuff. And then when they get in the position, they change. Now, what do we need to do as a people? Well, I know what we can do, but I can't say it on here. But what do we need to do as a people to change the mindset of our politicians, because even now we hear children speaking, our young people speaking, even the ones in the UB, and a lot of them speaking, boy, I just want to get up there, because it's my turn, my family turn. We need to change this mentality where our kids are having it in their mind that that's the kind of leader they're going to be, like it's accepted. And we will only get worse if we continue to breed, and that's why I say, with no apology, I always say we have to walk away from this American, U.S. Curriculum when it comes to educating our kids. I am not a Christian person or a church person or a church goer, but I like the Adventist way of dealing with their kids. Especially in the high schools, the kids, they get their education, they know their agriculture, they know their sewing, their whatever, and they are well-rounded when they come out from there. I just want to know what are we going to do, because we can't depend on the leaders we have now. It has been established, it has been proven 1,000% that they are all there for themselves. I have yet to see any one of them, doing something extraordinary that will get me. I vote, and I will always exercise my right to vote, because we have to have a leader. My thing is now, what are we going to do to make sure that we breed a higher level thinking of leaders that's going to love our country and going to look forward to what,
I think,
to the betterment of the country.
I think we start with self, and we have to always be concerned when there is the obvious dependency on this $125 million from the U.S. Very few people will get up and say, well, what do we give them for that $125 million? What is
exactly?
What is that about? Why is it that we are not aspiring or not toiling to reach a place where the terms of our friendship and this is not an anti-American expression. I know they are the anti-American or pro-Russia or any of that. What I'm saying here is that we have to have the right to act with uprightness and self-determination and sovereignty, and the only way to do that is to stop begging a man for things. Right? We can't beg you for things, because that no work. That no work. When I get something from you, you want to dictate to me. And again, we have to understand that the messaging that we have right now is that then it's send for we people home, right? Cool, that's for their laws. But now we see who then prioritize to bring in for their country, and now we can't act like we don't understand when they tell the world. When they say we first, what you really mean, because it's obvious, and one lot of we Latin American brothers and sisters, they learn this the painful way. You could go online and find one lot of them were completely shocked or hurt, like literally hurt. There's so many videos online of Latin Americans in the States who are pained by the fact that they never know that they would get sent home, but one plane they come full of Afrikaners, as they call themselves. They take that hard, because it's kind of like I'm sorry, you probably think that because of your complexion that we think so much of you. No, we send you home too, and that is a messaging. America, I'm sorry, but you did that. You put that out there. It's an incredible thing to do, and I know that there are people within their country who are similarly stunned by it, and yes, white Americans who have condemned it. But what cannot be done is you can't pretend it never happened. We can't pretend that you'd never just do that. We can't pretend that just last week your president tries to convince the president of South Africa that has been put under sanctions that there is a white genocide going on. We can't pretend that no happened. We can't pretend that you all have not empowered madness, and we can, and that a madness that is comfortable in projecting complete white supremacy, racial superiority messaging. We can't pretend that no happened. And so we can't change it, we can't do nothing about that, but what it is we can ill afford to do is to have the same mindset and be same, just business as usual, humming for we song like as if though what is considered to be the norm with all of its imperfections is now even getting worse. Like we have to
Mo, that's what I'm saying, Mo. That's what I'm saying. It all boils down to who we choose as our leaders. It all, I know I might sound like I'm anti-American or whatever the case, but to me the truth is the truth. But my whole point of this call is to let our Belizeans know, or for us to start to appreciate and to sort of accept that we need better leaders. We need to be able to breed another set of children that have a different mentality of what country, love of country and sovereignty is all about. That's the whole point of my call to. I don't know all these nice, big, eloquent words. I am a standard 6 graduate, never been further than that.
Okay.
But I am saying is that we have enough people in our country that can breed a different set of kids, because it won't change with these old folks now and the ones next in line to them. It won't change. If you look around, you will see it won't change countrywide.
All right, thanks very much for the call.
Okay, thank you.
This is WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We'll take a break and come back.
En Belice valoramos
All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We got a time problem here. We've kind of missed our break, so we'll have to go back to our final break very shortly as we're almost finished. This morning, the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. I think just to recap this morning is just to establish that I very, very displeased with just all the security deployment at the airport for the returning of our people who have been sent home. And again, I repeat, that is the right of the United States of America to decide and to have its laws. Nobody's having a quarrel about that, even though I am not going to be foolish to believe that that is all they're doing, because they have made it abundantly clear to anybody that pays any attention at all that that is not the core of their movement. It's about law abiding, rules abiding, and all of that. There is no, that's not all you're doing. But you do you. We can't stop that. But not only tell you could tell your fanatics in your country about all the bad things that people that come from countries like Belize do. We know that that is a very flawed, inaccurate picture that you're painting. But you have the right to paint that to your fanatics and get all worked up and do what you to do. We know the real score. We know what our people have brought. We have to know the score for ourselves. Because the next person don't want to keep the real score. Right? That's not going to happen. We can't make them create one scenario where we say, well, if there are a plane full of we people, they come, oh, there are a bunch of murderers, thieves, and da-da-da-da-da-da. No, that's not what we've been sending to the Americas for, to America for the decades that our people have been going there. Regardless if it's been by plane or then try other means. You can't come tell me about we people. We know someone ain't gone here and do bad. Like anybody. Like how some of your people come here and do bad. But for the most part, your people never come here about, dealing with things in the correct kind of way. You never need to go on the way how we go on. They could do what they want. They could put them on a plane and make a big thing about it. But we not for giant that. Take a final break, come back and rock. All right, we have come to the end of this morning's episode of Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, but it continues tomorrow morning if we have health and strength, 6:30, Tuesday edition of Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We want to salute the team as always, Larry G at Crum Radio at XTV, Pat Cliff, and directing this morning, Miss Krista Flowers. Have a great Monday. As always, stand strong, stand firm. For now, we're gone!
Wake up. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Put your time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show. Belize our hopes are to needless reason. Nobody feel left out is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, and selfish.